The roar of American muscle has always carried with it more than just raw horsepower. It carries heritage, pride, and a sense of rebellion that's been etched into the highways and drag strips for generations. Few cars embody that spirit better than the Chevrolet Corvette and the Dodge Viper. One is America's longest-running sports car icon, refined over decades into a sleek missile of performance and innovation. The other is a wild beast born in the 1990s, a car built with so little regard for comfort and so much obsession with power that it felt less like driving and more like wrestling a venomous snake. Today, we put these two legends side by side, Corvette versus Viper, to see who really deserves the crown of America's greatest performance car. The Chevrolet Corvette has a legacy dating back to 1953, when it first rolled out as a stylish roadster with modest power but massive ambition. Over the decades, the Corvette evolved into a true world-class sports car, one that could rival European greats at half the price. From the muscle of the Stingray in the 60S, to the technological leap of the C4 in the 80S, to the supercar-baiting ZR1S of the modern era, the Corvette represents consistency, adaptability, and constant improvement. The Dodge Viper, on the other hand, entered the game much later, but it came swinging like no other. First launched in 1992, the Viper was raw, unfiltered, and borderline dangerous. With an 8-liter V10 borrowed from truck engineering and tuned to unleash over 400 horsepower, the first Viper had no ABS, no traction control, and no stability programs, just a massive engine shoved into a lightweight body with side pipes that could practically burn your legs if you weren't careful. Dodge didn't want refinement, they wanted intimidation, and boy did they deliver. Comparing the Corvette and the Viper is like comparing a scalpel to a sledgehammer. The Corvette always aimed for balance, precision handling, aerodynamic efficiency, and performance that could compete at Le Mans and win, as it famously did multiple times. The Viper aimed for brutality, monstrous torque, a throaty exhaust note that screamed aground, and looks that screamed aggression with its long hood and short rear. Over the years, both cars kept pushing boundaries. By the early 2000s, the Corvette was refining itself with the C5 Z6 and later the C6 ZR1, adding supercharged fury while staying planted on the track. The Viper, meanwhile, grew even more monstrous, with its displacement swelling to 8.4 liters and horsepower figures creeping above 600, then 700, turning it into one of the most powerful naturally aspirated engines ever made. But here's where the clash gets interesting. While the Corvette was slowly adopting high-tech systems like magnetic ride suspension, lightweight carbon fiber, and wind tunnel-developed aerodynamics, the Viper stayed stubbornly analog. No turbos, no hybrid trickery, no driver aids. If you wanted to master a Viper, you had to master yourself first. And that's why so many drivers loved it. It wasn't just a car, it was a challenge. Styling tells another story. The Corvette, through each generation, shifted its identity. From the curves of the C2 Stingray to the sharp edges of the C8 midstream design, always modern but unmistakably Corvette. The Viper, it kept that snake-like silhouette with a long hood and wide stance, evolving into one of the most instantly recognizable American cars of all time. It looked exotic, almost like something out of a comic book, but with Detroit attitude. On the track, these two icons clashed multiple times. In endurance racing, the Corvette proved nearly unstoppable, claiming multiple championships and becoming a global ambassador for American engineering. The Viper also had its moments of glory, especially in GT racing, where its brutal power and durability made it a serious threat to European marques. Fans remember the late 90s and early 2000s as a golden era, when Corvette and Viper went head-to-head in professional racing, giving the world a true taste of American rivalry. But under the hood is where the personalities shine brightest. The Corvette has gone from small peak V8s to supercharged monsters, and now to the radical mid-engine layout of the C8, rivaling Ferraris and Lamborghinis in both design and performance. The Viper never strayed from its philosophy, a giant naturally aspirated V10, delivering torque so immense it could spin the tires into oblivion in third gear. Even when it bowed out in 2017, the final Viper ACR was hailed as one of the greatest track cars ever built, setting lap records across circuits worldwide without relying on forced induction or fancy electronics. Price also played a role in shaping their legacies. The Corvette was always billed as the affordable sports car, a way for everyday enthusiasts to get supercar thrills without a billionaire's wallet. The Viper, on the other hand, was more exclusive, more expensive, and, ultimately, more intimidating. For many, the Corvette was attainable. The Viper was aspirational. Unfortunately, the story of these two cars also diverges in survival. The Corvette lives on, stronger than ever, with the C8 ushering in a new era of midstream dominance. The Viper, however, was discontinued, unable to meet tightening safety and emissions regulations, and perhaps too wild for an industry moving toward electrification and automation. But in death, the Viper's legend only grew. Collectors now see it as a rare symbol of an era when cars were designed to scare you a little, and people love it for that. So, who wins this legendary clash? The Corvette, with its longevity, racing pedigree, and current dominance in the market, has proven itself as the enduring face of American performance. But the Viper, though short-lived, remains one of the purest expressions of unrestrained power ever to hit the road. It didn't compromise, it didn't evolve into something else, and it never apologized for being too much. That's why it's remembered, not just as a car, but as an icon. At the end of the day, the Corvette is America's king of consistency, while the Viper is America's wild child, a car that burned bright and left too soon. Put them side by side, and you don't just get two cars, you get two philosophies, one about balance and legacy, the other about madness and glory. So the next time you hear the thunder of a Corvette V8 or the snarl of a Viper V10, remember, you're not just hearing an engine, you're hearing the story of America's greatest legends colliding, a rivalry that defined what muscle, speed, and passion could mean on four wheels. Like this epic showdown between America's finest? Hit that like button, drop your pick in the comments, Corvette or Viper, and don't forget to subscribe for more legendary automotive battles that shaped car culture forever.